In the general case with all those constants, and if you have those, rho, g was the force of gravity, initial height, initial velocity, things like that.
What about brine mixture problem?
I'm leaning against that.
If you're leaning against that, does that mean that
how much relief that is?
measure force?
Oh, brine mixture, question mark.
Probably is a really big bummer.
Well, you guys turned in a problem set problem, you know, that was pretty hands-on.
It was like a 4-page.
Yeah, it was like a few pages. It was a couple page problem. So I consider, yeah, you've done something like that, you've been evaluated on something like that. I'm not going to keep hammering the same thing. So probably not. You know, I don't see it happening. But what else? There was, yeah, certainly the air resistance. There may be velocity, you know, position time velocity without air resistance.
Oh yeah. Like
Acceleration, velocity,
planet, moon bounce or whatever.
position, right. Without resistance.
On the planet moon bounce, gravity is 3/4.
Euler's method is possible. Now, you guys aren't going to have anything like, you know, let the step size be 0.05 and give 20 iterations. You know,
Well, and that'll be on the calculator portion, so it should be.
yeah, you could set that up and do, you know, 4 to 5 iterations at most. Would all that I'd ask. That's all that I'd ask.
Population models.
Yeah, population models and some of the acceleration stuff. Population models. Oh, and equilibrium solutions, right?
Other types of equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and stability.
All right, so being able to characterize stable, unstable, either finding it, and generally they're not so hard. You're finding, and it's autonomous, right? You're finding where dy dx or dx dt, whatever they happen to give you, is equal to 0. So it amounts to solving an equation. Now, the harder part is characterizing the equilibrium solutions as stable or unstable, but, you know, use that diagram still there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find this one probably the easiest for me to think of when I'm doing the, you know, this phase diagram. So we're talking about dx dt, right? It breaks it into regions according to where dx dt is 0. Usually you have a continuous function. So if it's 0 at these places, this is a continuous function. It's defined everywhere. It cannot be 0 anywhere else. So it's either all negative or all positive in each particular section. So figure out if dx dt is positive or negative. If dx dt is positive, that means x is increasing. Going to the right on the number line. If dx dt is negative, that means x is decreasing. So if they're going away from from a solution, equilibrium solution, that's an unstable equilibrium. If all paths bring you back towards that equilibrium, that's a stable equilibrium. Okay. So doing it by hand, but also, you know, there may be a direction field and asked to, you know, identify the equilibrium solutions, looking at the direction field. Okay. Let's talk about a study session. Tomorrow I do normally have office hours, but my office hours Monday and Wednesday have been in my office. But we could have a study session tomorrow. I should have time. Oh wait, tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday, that's
I do have it. I am down there, right? And Wednesday I have office hours. I'm sure I'll have some of my other students in there. Let's see, my first class Wednesday starts at 3:30. I have office hours 11:30 to 12:30. No, 2 to 3. So why don't we do 12 to 2? I don't know. Does that work for folks who are interested in doing this?
Yeah, I know a lot of us have the differentiation possibility.
The other option is doing it late in the evening after 6 o'clock p.m.
I think because
1 to 2, or did I say 12 to 2 or 1 to 2?
12 to 2.
12 to 2.
Because I know some of those are back to that's at 1:30, so it's
12 to 2. Okay, so that's gonna be Wednesday, the 23rd. 1 to 2, 12 to 2?
At the learning center?
Yeah. Let's see, do I have any other in Terrell Hall 125. So Terrell Hall 125 is the room next to the login computers in a learning center. So I'll just be camped out there. If people come, that's great. If not, I'll have stuff to do. All right, so anything else? Any other questions? We want to work on any other problems? We got 12 minutes. Yeah,
Is there a solution for the practice?
there are solutions.
Oh, yeah.
They do it somewhere. We get theoretically.
What's that?
from Alpha.
So, yeah. I'm not promising him. I don't have a lot of extra time.
Just assume
So that makes you more, the good thing is, well, you gotta be more reliant on, talking to other people and finding more indirect ways to verify that your work is correct, So one thing I do, and I end up doing it for Math 60, Math 65 a lot, and it's a little bit more of a crutch. They want to see solutions. They go, how are we gonna know if we're doing it right or wrong? And I say, well, because when you do it right, it feels good. It feels right. If you're doing it wrong, it just something wrong. Anyway, but I feel like that reliance on those folks, is a little bit more of a crutch. It's a security blanket. So finding a way to verify